interesting development in our generation is the education, because we were the first batch of K to 12.
The one thing that we learned from that senior high school shift to be co-ed is the world isn't a bubble. Mm-hmm. But you really have to realize na, as Noel said, na, the world is co-ed.
Magandang araw po sa kanilang lahat. At isa ito sa pinaka-exciting na episode of the Sun Podcast. Why did I say super exciting? Medyo na iba ito na episode. Kasi po, we always talk of generational gap. And in front of me right now, here at the studio, are two Gen Zs. Tama ba? Gen Zs. And gusto kong ipakilala sa inyo, ito si Brix Pilapil, siya po yung naka-black, at yung nakaputi ay si Nuel Sanchez. Could you tell us just a little bit of you, what you do right now?
See, I'll go first. So I'm Brix Pilapil. I'm a second-year master's student in creative writing from the 𝗕𝗵𝗹 College of Arts and Letters. I previously graduated from the Ateneo de Manila University, also creative writing.
Yeah. My name is Noel Sanchez. I'm currently taking a gap year since I applied to law school. I graduated last 2024 from the Ateneo de Manila, majoring in philosophy and political science, minoring in economics. Then I worked briefly for a few public relations companies doing press releases for various personalities.
Okay, so now we get right down to the topic at hand. Kasi we always talk about generational gap. I never heard of that. Na merong segmentation. May pangalan na ngayon, baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Z, millennials, may ano ngayon, Gen A or Gen Alpha.
Yes.
Right? Ano ba yan? Do you understand those terms? Because I do not. Ang alam ko lang, baby boom.
We sort of, it's kind of, I don't know where it originally started from. I just knew na whether it's through social media na, okay, there are certain generations, diba, from X year to Y year, diba, and those born within that time frame are labeled as either Gen X, if you're born in the 60s and you had a childhood in the 80s, you're Gen X. You're a millennial if you grew up in the 90s, if that's considered your childhood. If you were born in the 2000s, you're Gen Z. And now, if you were born mga 2010s or mid-2010s, you're considered Gen Alpha, which is the latest, youngest generation.
How about you, Noel? How do you understand all these terms? Gen.
Right, there's a lot of markers between generations. I was in the older generations of Gen Z, so I was able to experience things like cable TV or a telephone with a cord. And when I grew up, when I was in high school around 2014, the iPhone 5 came out, so we had smartphones. So I kind of saw like what people lived with before my generation, and like I'm seeing where it's going now in the future.
Okay, so from cable to cordless.
Yes. Basically, there's a lot of Gen Z who were born when Wi-Fi existed already. Where you had your smartphone, you had YouTube, you had all these social media platforms. Kami, we were born before that. But there are some Gen Z who already lived in that world. So even within generations, there's kind of a difference. Yeah.
So how were you able to jump from the cable, the cord, and to the cordless or wireless?
Well, it wasn't a convenient transition, right? Because let's say our parents, they're very accustomed to the more older technologies. So us younger people who are still very receptive to technologies. We learn how to use these things easily, whether maybe our parents are a bit like lagging. So we have to always teach them like, Dad, ito yung uso ngayon. Mom, you have to get a new phone para may software update ka, yung mga ganun.
Kasi may TV dati, isang family, di ba, nanonood sa TV. Yung TV mo nasa parang wood cabinet pa.
Yeah.
Oo, tapos bubuks, may pintuan pa yan eh. And then, para mag-change yung channel, pupunta ka doon sa TV, tapos you will turn the knob to change channels. Before, it was black and white and became colored. Ngayon, nagkaroon na ng remote.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Oh.
And remote, not the remote, but also now, even your phone can act as the remote.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, another interesting development in our generation is the education, because we were the first batch of K-12 where we had senior high school. And I think
Your batch is...
I graduated 2019 high school.
I'm a year younger,
Yeah.
batch 2020,
so,
high school.
inabot mo rin yung kay...
Yeah, yung
Yes,
transition.
we were really the tested batch where they were trying things out. And,
Really? And
Yeah.
then...
Just a short background, like, we both come from Ateneo High School. I was an upperclassman. And, you know, Ateneo's known all-boys school. So, biglang dumating yung girls, because of K-12. Tapos di namin alam nung gagawin.
Because of the girls or because of K-12?
well, a bit of both.
So my strand system, like, suddenly I'm categorized as a humanities person as early as high school. Things like those, I don't think they existed in previous generations. Like my titos also went to Ateneo High School. They didn't have girls. They didn't have strands. Parang
Yeah, back then there was the honor class system, where in junior high you were put in a class based on your grade.
Your grade, yes.
So there's the A class, there's the B class. When we were in junior high school, they changed that midway through
Right.
our period. I'm not sure.
Because of the entrance of the girls?
Not necessarily that. Parang it was the K-12 system, and then it was Ateneo's decision to introduce girls into the high school.
Baka naman puro babae na lang nasa section A. Nasa B na lang yung kasi mga gentlemen, ayaw nila magpasikat sa mga ladies, di ba?
siguro ganun nga. So this isn't just endemic to Ateneo, but it was because of the Commission of Higher Education's decision that nationwide K-12 co-education.
So how did you find it? Biglang you were just thrust into this new system. Did you have some resistance?
Okay, since I was the first batch to have girls, it was really strange because parang pinilit talaga eh. Kasi kunwari, yung section ko, 38 total. Tapos 30 yung lalaki, wala yung babae. Medyo weird yung ratio.
Ang hirap.
Oo. Tsaka nakasanayan namin maki-interact sa mga all-girls schools. And at this point na sumasali rin yung mga taga-Philippine high schools. As in, best of the best students. Eh, kaming mga all-boys, medyo kampante kami mag-aral. Gusto lang namin mag-gallivant, play basketball.
So, na-challenge pa kayo ngayon?
There really was parang a wake-up call from the boys, because all of these girls, not just the girls but also mga ibang transferees from other schools na lalaki, who really wanted to prove themselves na we're not just here to fulfill a quota, we're here because we earned it, diba? So that's when kasi I'm a batch lower than him, so I also experienced that na in our class we had like 11 girls. 11 girls in a class of 40, 38.
So it improved.
Yes, I think
yes.
Your personal experience, you were challenged. Was it reflected in your grades or your performance in school?
Honestly, for me, yes. Because I finally got honors in senior high school.
Did you have to compete?
I had to compete. I had to catch up, and I had to wake up. I can't, lag behind anymore.
Pasikat, ah.
There's also that aspect, honestly. But you want to impress.
Yeah. I think in the end, it was a good addition to the high school experience. Kasi syempre, the real world, or college even, like it's really co-ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good for us to develop like our social skills.
Social skills, social sensibilities. You can't, the one thing that we learned from that senior high school shift to be co-ed is the world isn't a bubble. You really have to realize na, as Noel said, na, the world is co-ed, whether you like it or not. So you have to adjust.
That's good to know, and that's good to hear. And it sounds very positive coming from the two of you. But were there drawbacks that you experienced or heard from your other classmates? And were there?
I mean, syempre yung mga magulang, when they realize that the girls are taking all the top spots in honors, they think it's a quota thing, or there's that panic from the more traditional parents who are like, the girls are taking over, and it's like, well, maybe it's because your young boys aren't studying. So again, it's that wake up call. Na the culture has to evolve. Na it can't just be boys at the top or something along that line. There is going to be competition. There's always going to be competition, and how you adjust to it is up to you.
And from high school, now it's really co-ed. In college, so it was easier.
Oh yes, it was easier to socialize, especially socialize, get beyond that barrier. And I'm talking to girls now.
Right there, shoulder to shoulder.
Shoulder to shoulder, diba? And you're not there to flirt or whatever. You're there to study and to prove na you belong in that classroom, so to speak.
Ngayon yung mga coffee shops, diba? Ilang tables pero isa lang yung banyo. It is shared.
Right. That's one of the things in our generation. Like there's an all-gender CR, those things. And it's all about inclusivity. And going back to traditional all-male schools, like what I knew all my life was all-boys schools talaga. And at some point I was a bit concerned because bigla lang kaming all boys magiging irrelevant. Di namin makwento yung mga experiences namin sa future generations.
Really?
Yeah, like someone in the lower batch would
hindi pa ito dumadaan ng MTRCB, so you're free to talk.
Right.
I actually share that kind of fear because as the time goes on and as the generations change and the priorities change and the culture changes, we sort of kind of worry na there's that kind of nostalgic fear na the culture I grew up with is dying. As more schools stop being single sex na all girls or all boys, bigla na everything is co-ed. It's a sad thing. It's kind of a sad thing to see a culture we grew up with fade away. So it's
And now it's not just boys, girls. Now it's many letters.
It's true.
Yes.
Is there a correlation? Boys and girls, then it became many letters. We don't have to mention it. How was it when all boys? Siyempre, you had some of them being bullied. And now with the girls, you can't bully them anymore.
Well, there's it's that kind of concern of change, diba? Because regardless of the situation, diba? There's always going to be a sense of competition, diba? And one of the ways that manifests is bullying. Boys bully in their own way, girls bully in their own way.
That's
regardless of if it's in an all boys or all girls setting.
Yes,
there's going to be bullying. So now
correct.
that's a new challenge for schools to face, I suppose.
How about cheating in school?
Cheating.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to go back and in the generation when we started putting labels into us with certain an era of from the 50s to the 60s, baby boomers. how did it have an effect na you were labeled as Gen Z, some are millennials, because there wasn't that before when there was no such thing. It was just 50s, 60s, 70s, just like the
Yeah.
music, you know.
I think now like it's nice to analyze phenomenons from the past. So it's easier to describe people through categories. Like, oh, like if someone's from the 70s, they probably listened to a lot of Rolling Stones or like rock and roll. There was the peace era, and then 80s like Madonna, 90s Michael Jordan. Those cultural benchmarks, I would say, is like really the effect of like categorizing people into these generational letters, as you would say. And now it's easier to explain, I guess.
So it's, aside from technology, there's also music.
There's a little bit of that, recognition of experiences. There's a generation that experienced martial law. There's a generation that experienced the rise of MTV, for example. There's a
Yes,
generation that
TV,
experienced,
yes.
different shows growing up. There's the generation that grew up with Sesame Street. There's the
Yes,
generation
yes.
that grew up with, again, I don't know, because that's not something I'm familiar with.
Well,
Even the toys.
Even the toys.
Yeah, G.I. Joe, you know.
The G.I. Joe, or movies also.
There was Barbie before, then
Barbie.
came G.I. Joe, no more Barbie.
the cool part about today's world is that technology is so advanced, easy for us to socialize and connect, even if there's generational gaps. Like, for me, I love listening to older music.
How come?
It's because minsan nakakaumay yung bagong mga kanta. Like, sometimes I don't relate with my own generation. Like,
Who do you relate with more, the younger one or the older one?
I kind of relate with the older ones. Like, cause I really like watching like old movies. Or
Really?
Yeah.
Humphrey Bogart.
Di naman, like mga movies from.
I love Humphrey Bogart.
I don't know. Godfather was pretty good.
Okay, yeah.
Goodfellas.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Or even like movies from the 90s. I'm a fan of 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗏. I love some of 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗽's songs. Look, those things.
So the thing there is from cable to cordless, and how about relating to each generation? Is there a greater opportunity to relate cross generation? Or before, when somebody dies, we had no cell phone. The whole town knows about it. But with a mobile, it's like there's a growing isolation.
Yeah.
That you're just connected through the gadget. Have you observed that, or it's just something I'm just saying?
Sometimes, we see things on our phone that are concerning, but because it's something beyond our control, we choose to be ignorant of it so that hindi sumakit yung ulo namin. Diba? Like, we see the news all the time. We're glued to our phones like almost 24/7. Like, and then we see like, oh, daming problema sa bansa. Diba? In the back of your mind, parang, diba, may anxiety. Diba? Would you agree, Brix?
When it comes to the way you said it, I think because there's so much information available, we're not given enough time to linger on something. So if you say let's say a celebrity passed away recently, and I see that on my phone, it's like, you feel sad for a second, but then you scroll again and then you see a funny cat video.
So
You're not.
You're shifting emotions.
There's so much, media available at the palm of your hand, literally. You're not given time to connect to a new piece of information.
Or go deep.
Yes. Diba?
But it is a choice.
It is
I
a
mean,
choice.
after all, it's your finger that scrolls.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Something may keep you interested to look at it more than 5 seconds. But that's up. It's up to you. It's up to each generation, honestly.
But what makes you stick to it for more than 5 seconds? For you, for example.
For me, it really depends on my interests. Sometimes,
Which are?
I'm mostly interested in pop culture, in the more popular shows or movies. If I see an article, I'm less likely to. If I see a news article, I'm less likely to, spend more time with it. But then if I see like a new video of or a trailer of a new show that I'm interested in, I'm more likely to click on that.
Is it, or does it relate to your choice of course in college and now for your master's, creative writing? Because in creative writing, I don't think has a space in news articles. Am I correct?
Well, it's a different kind of writing, yung journalism and yung creative writing. It's like a different kind of language, and if you read the language and you enjoy it, then you're more likely to read it. Mm-hmm. Whereas if it's journalism, which is very matter of fact, it's very informal, mm-hmm. Informational rather than informal. Sorry. I'm not gonna be interested in that really.
So yung creative writing, not just choice of words.
Yes, it's more of the content also.
The content and how it is told.
And how it's presented, yes.
And how it is presented. What is it about you that you got attracted to creative writing?
For me, kasi I've always ever since I was a kid, I always enjoyed stories. Diba? Actually, not even written.
Or?
I'll be very honest. I used to grow up watching movies and DVDs. It was only later when I was in high school na I started developing a likeness to reading. And then the more I read, the more I enjoyed writing. Diba? That's when I found out na I could write. Diba? And I can do it quite well because I'd always have teachers who would tell me, Brix, you write very well, or because I had grown up with all these stories in my head, and so I wanted to have that sense of freedom to make my own, so to speak, rather than report on what's happening on the other side of the world or what's happening in our country. I'm more interested in the stories I would write rather than write about what's happening outside.
Favorite authors.
Favorite authors ko this may be an easy answer, but Stephen King. Honestly, he's one of my inspirations for not only reading but also writing, because he writes amazing stories. My favorite is The Shining.
Oh,
The Shining. He has a certain way with the language, and it's a very visual form of writing, which is why it's so easy for his books to be made into movies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But were you reading it using your tablet or phone, or was it a paperback?
No. I very much, I'm very traditional. I buy paperback. I much prefer to hold the book and to turn the page and to, there's that excitement in reading traditionally,
and the smell
of the book. Yes, it's like there's progress. Whereas with a tablet, again, it's just the same motion over and over again. Or it's like it's not as engaging. I can't explain why, but it's more engaging for me to buy the book and read it. And
yeah. How about you? Are you the visual, the informational, or the... Do you read a lot as much as...
Well, I did major in philosophy and pol-sci. I think it really stems from because of me wanting to understand the world. It's also my way of honoring my family's legacy, because I come from a long line of rural bankers and business men who developed parts of Rizal, like the province. And because of this, I love dealing with people, understanding how individual minds work and how politics plays in a society, as well as the economical mechanics that push these movements forward. So I think it's, and because of this, I want to study the law also, and maybe have some role in public service in the future.
Let me ask you this. They say that power and money creates a disaster for the people because too powerful, you have power and you have money when mixed together, you're practically untouchable.
Yes.
And you want to pursue, and you are ready to tread that narrow or wide path.
Yeah. I do believe in the Thomistic tradition that everything God made is good, and money and power are both just things as tools used to be used by men. And being a man means you have to be of virtue, sound mind, of sound body, and you have to make ethical and moral decisions. And for me, it's more important to be a good man than a man that is considered to be successful than society. Like, I prefer to have my honor intact than having like absurd amounts of wealth. Because at the end of the day, I want my friends, family still to love me or be proud of me, or like. And at the end of the day, like, I think everyone in this country wants to make the world a better place.
That's good to hear, but how would that be possible? Are you that strong enough to resist temptation? And what would be the tools that you will use to make sure that you are actually following the straight path?
Yeah, of course it's a struggle, but because we struggle, there's resistance. And syempre, I'm humble enough to admit that I do fall to these temptations, but because I'm I still have a conscience, and I know when to stop, or I know when to confess these things where I'm wrong, or how to make up for it, basically. So those are the ways you can try to fight this eternal battle of internal conflicts with sin, basically. Yeah.
Very basic sin.
Yeah.
Kita mo tong dalawang matipunong kabataan natin, si Black at si White. Kung nagtataka kayo, paano sila nakapunta sa studio, may kotse po sila, kaya sila nakapunta dito. But joking aside, napaka-inspiring. You want to write about it, and you just want to act on it. It's a very good combination as we weave the tapestry of the growth of our country as a people. Because I still believe that we are a young democracy. And even for the old democracies, there's still a struggle. Hindi naman yan nawawala. Diba? As long as you keep the faith and hold on to it. So, what can you say about the state of media right now?
Definitely, there's an attention economy, which is also a term
Attention economy.
in our generation.
Actually, yeah.
Because everything on your device in media that you pay attention to makes money out of it.
Like this one.
Yeah. Well,
No, it's not making money.
please subscribe and like all our videos so we can make money. Anyways, yeah, because like you said, with money comes greed. Sometimes the things that come out in media aren't necessarily true, but they get your attention, and because they have your attention, they make money out of it. And sometimes it poisons the young minds of my fellow young men.
Yeah, it's easy to grab somebody's attention, even if it's not true. That's why fake news is a prevalent issue nowadays. So as long as the priorities of a lot of companies or institutions, I'm not gonna say which, but a lot of their priority is just to get there first rather than to get there the right way, so to speak. So that again, it goes back to that analogy of, there's so much information. You have to be very careful with what you consume. And a lot of other companies are very careful with how they present themselves. They want to present themselves as clean or as the most trustworthy, even if it's at the cost of their own integrity. Again, it's that race of being first rather than being right, I guess.
Ko, nabibigyan ako ng energy sa dalawang young men here at our studio today. And I am glad that integrity, search for truth, and creativity is still very much in our society right now. And for all of you who are listening, who have subscribed and liked the videos of the Sun Podcast, I hope that the light continues to spread because we need so much light in the darkened areas of our society. Maraming salamat sa iyo, Brix, Nuel, and hopefully we will see more of. We hope to see your opus, and we would love to see you at that pinnacle of where you want to be in the future. So, maraming salamat. Any final parting words from the two of you?
Thank you, Tito. It's an honor.
Yeah,
to
it's
be
very honored to be here.
Yeah. I saw your excitement when we invited you. And I'm glad you were here on time. Thank you very much. So, please like, subscribe, and share the Sun Podcast. Maraming salamat at magandang araw sa inyong lahat.